We're getting right in it. Welcome back to another episode, everyone. Today I'm bringing you a Sergeant in the Kitchen episode. We all have a ton of wild game. We all have a ton of venison laying around. You might get sick of the same old things. And today we have venison roast. My favorite thing with a roast is jerky, personally. But if we have any left over this late in the year, I absolutely love birria tacos. Birria tacos are a little intimidating. There are a lot of ingredients. There are things that you may not be able to find. I'm going to take you step by step through the whole process, show you alternatives, and show you that it's not as bad as it seems, and I can promise you that the results are worth it. From start to finish, these tacos will take roughly 4 to 5 hours total, so make sure you have some time set aside in the day. Today with this 4 pounds, I'm aiming at about 3 hours with about 30 minutes of prep time between the cutting, boiling, and blending of the other ingredients. So without further ado, let's just get after it. I like to start all of my cooking by separating all of my spices, getting anything that needs to be chopped up, ready to go, so that when you're going through the process, it's as easy as just dump in. So that's what we're gonna start with. I'm going to cut up, slice up, give you the portions, and then from there we're gonna go step by step throughout the process. We are gonna start out with the spices. All the spices go in at roughly one time, so you can put them all in one little dish or bowl. That's what I'm gonna do today, and I'm just going to list them off here real quickly for you and give you some alternatives to what I have. So if you can't find whole cloves, don't be discouraged. Go ahead and just try to find yourself a powder or a mix of some kind that has cloves in it, and you'll be all right. So we are going to do a half a teaspoon per 4 pounds of oregano, thyme, ground cumin, ginger, either seeds or ground, whatever you can find, mustard seed, either coriander seeds or ground, half a teaspoon of ground cinnamon in this part of the mix. If you have cinnamon sticks, you will not add it here, you will add it later, and I will tell you when. Half a teaspoon of whole cloves, also ground if you need them. And then you will do 1 tablespoon of allspice whole and peppercorns. Now, if you can't find the allspice whole or the peppercorns, you can just go ahead and do half a teaspoon of those as well, of just pepper and allspice. Either one works. If you can't find one of these ingredients or a couple of these ingredients, you're gonna be okay. You're not gonna be missing a little bit of time if you don't have it in there. So don't stress too much about the exact measurements. This is cooking, it's not baking. Go ahead and overfill of a flavor you like, underfill of one that you may not. Cooking is my favorite thing because you measure with your heart, you don't measure by the recipe. Next, we're gonna get our dried peppers. We have 8 to 10 Guajillo peppers, and then we have roughly 6 Chiles de Arbol. Now this package I recently got, they're a lot smaller than they should be, so I have about 10 of those here as well. We'll get to these in a second. We're gonna start with Guajillo. If you do not have Guajillo peppers, you can't find dried Guajillo, go ahead and use ancho or chipotle. Either one will work. I know where I live, these are not the easiest to find, so I have to make a trip to the city whenever I want these and go to an actual Mexican market. All we're gonna do is use a pair of scissors, cut these open, de-seed them for now. When it comes to the Chiles de Arbol, if you want your mixture to be spicier, go ahead and leave the seeds in these Chiles de Arbol. I'm going to cut half of them open and take the seeds out, leave the seeds in the other half for today. A pair of scissors works the best, and make sure if you have any pets around that you do not lose any seeds on the floor. Have a bag nearby to just dump these seeds in as you cut the peppers open. All right, we have our peppers. They are all cut open and de-seeded. Let's head over to the sink. Next, here at the sink, we're gonna go ahead and give these a light rinse. We're gonna add them to the pot, cover them slightly, just slightly with water, and then we're gonna put them on the burner to boil. We are going to do 1 whole onion. We don't need to dice it up. Big chunks like this will be fine. Just cut it into quarters, essentially. And then we are going to need 6 Roma tomatoes. Same thing. I'm just going to cut the ends off, dice it up, add it to this bowl, and then we're going to head over to the pot. All right, here at the stove, we have a large pot with some oil over medium heat. We are going to add our tomatoes and onions. We're going to get it all mixed together here, and then we are going to add a pot, give it about 3 to 5 minutes at a time until the onion and tomato is nice and soft, and then we'll be adding the rest of our ingredients. While our tomatoes and onion soften, we have our whole head of garlic here. We're going to go ahead and get all of our cloves out, and one trick is to make this as easy as possible. Let's go ahead and just toss them in a Tupperware. Each clove of the head, go ahead and just toss that right into Tupperware, as so. If you don't want to go through this, you can absolutely use a jar of garlic. No one's going to judge you. I use jar of garlic all the time. Once you have all of your cloves in a Tupperware, go ahead and put a lid on. Hand it to the nearest child. Go ahead and shake this for about, 1 to 2 minutes. And all of your cloves of garlic are going to be peeled perfectly. And just like that, we have our head of garlic peeled. And then we're gonna go ahead and just set our spices and our garlic to the side for a moment. And we're gonna head back to the stove. All right, our peppers have come to a boil. We're gonna go ahead and shut those off for a moment. Our onions and tomatoes are almost soft. Ooh, smelling good. With our tomato and onion nice and soft, they've been sitting in the pot for about, I'd say 7 or 8 minutes now, stirring occasionally so they don't burn on the bottom, but they're nice and tender. We're gonna go ahead and add the rest of our ingredients. Our entire head of garlic in, and then we're gonna add that bowl of spices that we made earlier. Just give that a quick little stir. From there, we are going to grab our peppers out of the pot, keep the liquid. So you can do this 1 of 2 ways. I'm just gonna pull these out of here, keep the liquid in the pot for now. If you wanted to strain out the peppers, just put a strainer on a bowl, go ahead and dump this in, and then you can put the peppers right in from there. I'm just gonna grab them with the tongs today, because a little bit of liquid in there isn't gonna hurt either. But you definitely wanna keep this liquid from the peppers. All right, now that we got everything all mixed together, all these incredible flavors marinating on each other, we're gonna go ahead and set the burner to low, and we are gonna let this simmer for another 3 to 5 minutes. All right, while that simmers for the next 3 to 5 minutes, go ahead and get your big, massive pot out. You can use as big as you want. We are going to be putting 8 cups of water in here, if not a little bit more, 8.5 cups of water in a pot, so make sure it's large enough to fit all of that liquid, and then also you're going to be adding that 4 pounds of meat plus this marinade. So you need a very large pot that can hold a ton of liquid and meat. Let's go ahead and get this water boiling. We're going to go ahead and blend this up, and the best way to do this is blending just a little bit at a time. Adding a little bit of this at a time with a little bit of liquid, blend it, pour it out, and so on. And then by the end, we're going to have our marinade ready to go. I can hear the water behind us. It's about to start boiling. So by the time we're done with this, it's time to start the magic. All right, our water is boiling. I'm gonna do this step over here on the counter just because our microwave is like right above our stove and these are big pots and pans. The next step is go ahead and take our marinade and we're gonna go ahead and add it to this pot of boiling water, which is gonna cause a huge mess. Oh, we're gonna scrape our bowl or container. We're gonna get every bit of this out of the bowl. All right, here we are. We got this. We got our marinade in the boiling water. We're gonna go ahead and now add our meat. Like I said, I have 4 pounds of roast that I had just cubed up into chunks to make it easy, make it cook better, make it easier to pull apart. We're gonna go ahead and add that now. Ugh. You are going to include the bone. There's a lot of flavor in here, and when this is boiling down, you're gonna want that in your mixture. So we're gonna go ahead and add a tablespoon to a tablespoon and a half apple cider vinegar. We're gonna measure with our heart as usual. Give it a good mix. I said it earlier, if you have cinnamon sticks, it comes later. It would be here once that water comes back to a boil, which mine came back pretty quick because I was doing so much in between. But man, this smells incredible already. Just to be fully transparent with you guys, I had to switch pots. Turns out I don't have a lid to this big pot anymore, and that pan wasn't working very well. So I just want to give you you're going to come back later. I'm going to be pulling meat out of a completely different pot. It just turns out I lost my lid. So I had to take a little bit of that liquid out. It took about a half a cup out to not overflow that pot. That's extremely unfortunate, but accidents happen. So, all right, now I'm going to get to cleaning up. I just wanted to make sure that when we came back later, you guys weren't like, oh, it's a completely different pot. Yeah, it's because it just didn't work with the one without a lid. All right, it has been just over 3 hours. We're going to get this meat out. Oh, it's just falling apart already. Get the meat out of the consommé so we can shred it up and put it inside our tacos. Oh God, it's falling apart. And we're gonna get to assembling some tacos here. Oh, this smells incredible. All right, we have our consommé separated. We have our meat shredded, and now it is time for one of the messier parts of this job, but it'll be worth it, I promise. You can do it in a frying pan. I do it in a frying pan all the time. I'm just gonna try to do 3 at a time here on the griddle today. If you got a Blackstone, I mean, that's the way to go. But just know you're gonna make a mess. You're gonna be dipping tortillas in the consommé. It's gonna be messy. I strained this consommé. You don't have to, but I suggest it afterwards. That way you can put it in your soups, put it in things, and you don't get any seeds or anything that didn't boil off later on. So what we're gonna do is you're gonna take your tortillas. I know these are not homemade. That didn't work out for me today. I ran out of time. You're gonna dip that tortilla, put it on the burner. I have mine set to about 350. You're gonna add the meat, the cheese. You're gonna roll it over, and you're gonna pour some more consommé on top. I'm gonna illustrate it here as easily as I can. It's hard to do this, concentrate, and talk to you guys at the same time. So we're gonna go ahead and take a tortilla. We're gonna dip it in there. You're gonna put it on the fryer, and then you're gonna add your cheese and your meat at that moment. Like so. Do that one. If you wear gloves, you can handle the heat a little bit better. Take some of that consommé and just pour it right over top. Let it sizzle on there. And we're gonna go through one more time. Ooh, yeah. All right, and then once they get a little bit of crispiness to them, they're not gonna be like a hard shell taco. Just a little bit crispiness, you can pull them off and you're ready to eat those. I'm gonna do another batch and we're gonna go ahead and put some cilantro and onion inside this one. And then we will get to actually dishing up this meal. All right, and here we have our tacos dished up and ready. Now the final piece of this puzzle is go ahead and just scoop yourself some of that delicious consommé. We're getting right in it. Cheesy, delicious, so many flavors. It seems intimidating, like I said at the beginning, but if you just do it step by step, it's very easy. It's just a little time consuming to get that meat boiling and a little dirty in your house. But if you wait till summer, you got a Blackstone outside, make a mess, have a good time. But this is where I leave you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and finish these tacos. Make sure you guys like, share, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, see you in the kitchen.